I'm Sandra Mathers from the University of Oxford, and I'm going to tell you a bit about the Talking Time programme. This is our Talking Time team. We have between us expertise in children's oral language development and how to support it, but also in evidence-based professional development. And probably more importantly, we know early year settings, and we know how hard all of you work to support your children's learning and development. So let's start with early language. We know that early language skills are so important for children. Children need talk to be able to communicate with peers and with adults and to engage in social interactions and relationships. And early language also underpins their later literacy and really their achievement in all areas, all the way through school to their later lives. And we know that children with poor language skills are much more likely to struggle at school or be unemployed later in life, or even more likely to have mental health issues later. So language really matters. But we also know that a lot of children reach school without the language skills they need, particularly children growing up in poverty. And early years settings can make a huge difference for those children. So that's really what Talking Time is designed to do, to support settings in doing this. It's designed for children aged 3 to 5, and it's targeted to disadvantaged areas, so particularly to settings where a lot of children need more support with their language. But within your setting, it's delivered universally, so all children benefit. It's based on small group activities that have been specially designed to promote oral language in key areas, so vocabulary, comprehension, and oral narrative. And we provide a manual and storybook and plans, but these are really flexible and adaptable to suit your children and your context. This is really different to a follow the recipe type of intervention programme that you have to deliver exactly as it's written. It's really designed to be flexible and adaptable to individual children and settings. And through professional development, so training and mentoring, we really support you in understanding the principles behind the programme, so you can be confident in adapting it in a way that works for your children. So really, we hand over the reins to you and support you to embed Talking Time into everyday practice in the longer term. And at its heart, Talking Time is all about having high quality conversations with children. So there are 3 Talking Time activities, all designed to prompt great conversations in different ways. Story Conversations is about shared storytelling, using the illustrations in books as prompts. Wordplay is about guided role play and games that are designed to develop children's vocabulary breadth and depth. And then in the hexagons activity, you'll have conversations that are prompted by photos of familiar situations and contexts, because we all know that children are really most confident to communicate when they can talk about things that are within their experience, where they're the experts, if you like. So hexagon supports narrative discussion and retelling. Now, these are all the kinds of activities that you'll be using in your setting already, but we'll help you to use and embed them in a way that's more powerful for supporting children's oral language skills. So why conversations? Conversation seems such a simple thing, but we know that back and forth conversations with adults are really one of the most powerful contexts for children to learn language, a real powerhouse. In a conversation, children can hear new language in context, but they can also practice using their new language in a social interaction. And maybe most importantly, they can get feedback on their communication and language from you, from adults. So that's where you use that conversation to really sprinkle in all that new language, maybe just adding some extra words or reframing a child's words back into a full sentence. So you're using that conversation that children are really engaged in to help them develop language in a way that's really natural and really fun. And that's what Talking Time is about, really. It is an intervention programme, but the essence of it is really that it's really you. You and the conversations that you have with children, they're the real intervention. You are the thing that will make most difference for your children. And talking time is about helping you to do that. So because of this focus on conversations, we use books a bit differently to the way that you might be used to. So instead of reading the text and asking questions, we're really co-telling stories with children, using the pictures as a starting point for conversation. And those conversations are really child-led. So you tell a slightly different story with each group of children. And some of our books are wordless books because they give a lot of freedom to really follow the children's ideas. Wordless books really put children in charge. If you're reading the text, then you're in charge because, of course, you're the only one that can read. But if you tell the story through pictures, then children can tell as much of the story as you can. And it's amazing what difference that makes. Children really can't wait to talk once they realise that they're the storytellers too. And some of our settings have talked about children who had really never spoken in group activities before, suddenly lighting up in this activity. So I'll give you a chance to have a little look now. This is Stephanie.
Let's see what happens next. What's happened?
He didn't happen to the
Gorilla.
going now.
Yes, he's going out of the cage.
Key.
You can see the key behind the chisel and it's in the lock.
Open one.
Open the cage.
So it's just a really small snippet to give you a flavour. So how does the programme work then? Well, remember that it's universal for all children. So you would divide your children into small groups, mixed language ability groups, so that children can learn from each other as well as from you. And we'd want those groups to be maximum 5 children, so that children all have a chance to engage. And then each week for about 3 half terms, you'd offer 2 15-minute activities every week to each group of children, and also set up one reinforcement activity in your continuous provision. So linked play resources, for example, so children have a chance to really put all that lovely new language to work. But then how you deliver the sessions and provide the follow-up activities will be really flexible and responsive, so adapted to your children and your setting. So in terms of what you'd receive, your setting would get 2 sets of resources, so each with 5 books and then a handbook to support you in delivering the talking time sessions. And that handbook would have flexible plans and prompts for all of the talking time activities. So you feel really supported initially. And then the professional development and your mentor would support you to feel confident in adapting those plans and prompts to really meet the language needs of your children. And as your confidence grows, you'll feel ready to plan activities of your own and adapt and embed the programme in the longer term. So the idea is that we really gradually hand over the reins to you, so you've got ownership of the programme in the longer term. And this is then what the professional development looks like. So that's really at the heart of the programme. So this is really different to a scripted intervention programme. You'll really be using the Talking Time programme to build your expertise in supporting oral language. So this is really about making an investment in your team's professional practice in the longer term. So we'd ask you to identify 2 talking time leads who would deliver the majority of talking time sessions, and then spread over roughly 2 terms, you'd take part in 3 Twilight training sessions, so they happen online and other staff are welcome to attend. And then 4 in-class mentoring sessions. So they're really the most important part of the programme, really supportive sessions where your mentor will lead a session, you'll have a go at leading a session, and then you have a really supportive professional conversation about how they went and really helping to build your language supporting practice. Then there are 3 video mentoring sessions for the person leading on talking time in your setting. So they really focus on planning and leading and sustaining talking time in the longer term. And then we ask you also to take part in a weekly professional reflection to consolidate and embed new practice. And that's a really important part of the programme. That's about you valuing yourself as a professional and giving yourself the time and the space for professional growth. And that professional development is a really core part of the programme. Your mentor will support you and work with you to support your implementation, but also your growing expertise. And that's really a partnership approach. So your mentor is an expert in the programme, but you are an expert and the expert on your children. So you'll really work together with your mentor, both of you bringing your expertise to the table to figure out how to implement the programme in a way that works best for your children. So what's the evidence for talking time then? Well, we evaluated talking time in 40 settings in disadvantaged areas of England using a carefully designed randomised controlled trial. And the findings showed that children's vocabulary improved, but also staff practice improved. So, for example, shared reading sessions became much more child-led. So staff read much less often from the text, children talked a lot more, and there were longer back and forth conversations between staff and children. Staff and parents also saw improvements. So they reported improvements in their children's language skills and in their confidence. So particularly for children with weaker language skills and dual language learners. And here are some of the things that practitioners have said about the programme. I'll just give you a moment to read those. So what's next then if you're interested in talking time? Well, we're really excited to say that we're looking for 130 settings to take part in a new research study evaluating the talking time programme in 2024 to 2025. So schools with nurseries, nursery schools and private voluntary and independent group settings are all eligible and would receive the talking time programme and that professional development support at no cost. So if you're interested to find out more, then you can have a look at our website. So there's more information and an expression of interest form on the website, but you might also want to watch the other couple of videos that are on the website as a follow-up. So video 2 tells you a bit more about what settings have got to say about talking time, and video 3 tells you more about the research study and how to get involved. Thank you very much for listening.